Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing okay. Hope you guys are staying safe. Today we're going to be continuing with our FreeCodeCamp data structures and algorithms, JavaScript algorithms and data structures, I guess you can call it, questions, because that's what it's called on the website. Remember, we're doing the legacy one. We've not done the beta. So we're going to start off at number 9 because we did 1 through 4 in the first part of the series, 4 through 8, well 5 through 8 in the second part, and now we're doing 9 through 12 on this one. So we do 4 each, I guess, in every part of the series. Now, unfortunately, I had already recorded up until the third question set, and then the file got corrupted and did not save, so it stopped recording midway through. So rather than do the whole thing all over again, I'm just going to show you guys what I did, and luckily I did put the steps in this one, so you're able to see what I did step by step. So with all that said, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first one is called finders keepers, and here it states create a function that looks through an array, and the array is going to be represented by ARR, and returns the first element in it that passes a truth test. This means that given an element x, the truth test is passed if function x is true. If no element passes the test, return undefined. So here we're given 2 tests. Here we're given the array 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10 with the function number, return number. If it's divided by 2, the remainder should be 0. So since it's the first number within the array that should be returned if the remainder is 0, then 8 should be returned. The same thing goes here. Since no number here when divided by 2 returns anything with no remainder, then returns a remainder of 0, let's put it that way, then it should return undefined. Basically, in layman's terms, what it's asking is what's the first even number within this array. Here the first even number is 8. Here there's no even number, so it's undefined, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So if we come over to my IDE, as I said, I already did these problems like a couple of minutes earlier before my file decided not to save, or it stopped recording midway through. So what we should do is step 1, we need to declare that number. So here's the original, let's say reset this lesson. Here's what the problem looks like. Here's what the original function looks like that's given to us. Here they said let num equal 0, but I didn't like that, so I changed it to let num. We're just going to declare num, because 0 technically can still work, because if 0 is plugged in here and there's no other even number like 2 and 4 given, then technically 0 would fit this criteria. So I get what they're trying to ask, but I just took 0 out and just said let num. It doesn't really change much. It says let num. So that's the first step. So for step 2, I want to create a for loop. So I'm going to create a for loop that loops through the array. So we're going to say var I is equal to 0. I is less than array.length I plus plus. So we're saying the index starts at 0. 0 is less than array.length, because array.length will give us 1, 2, 3, and 4. So starting at 1, the index is 0, so we're going to start at 1. 1 is less than 4, and we're going to be going all the way up, and so we're just going to be going all the way up till we get to 3. Till we get to 3, because it goes 0, 1, 2, 3. So, and then we're going to increment by 1. And here I was able to to explain further what's going on in step 3. So let's go to step 3 first, and then we can go back up to this, and this would explain it more. So for step 3, if function is within the loop, if function is, I need to say within the for loop. So if the if function should be within the for loop is what I meant to say. So we're going to create this if function, and we're saying if the function array of I is true, then we're going to say num is equal to array of I, and then we're going to break out of it, break out of that function, and then we're going to return the number. So what it's saying is, if we break it down even further, when we say array I, that equates to 1. So that's the position, that's the element 1 here that it's referring to. When we say I is equal to 0, so, and it also refers to I equals 0. So the placement of this index, because it's an array, it starts with 0. So arrays, except if stated like it's the index 1, it's at index, the indexes are now at a 1 index, like the problem is at a 1 index, then you add 1 to it. But other than that, it's just 0. So 0 here is 1. So that's what it's saying. And here we're saying if we have array of I within, when we have our first go around in the loop, we get 1 as the element. And when you say 1, when you divide 1 by 2, you have a remainder. So our remainder here is undefined because it's not 0, based on what the problem states. It says if no element passes the test, return undefined. And the test says given an element x, the truth test is passed if function x is true. And what does true mean? It means it looks through an array and returns the first element in it that passes the truth test. So if it passes the truth test, then it's true. If not, it's undefined. And the truth test is saying, okay, is this an even number? That's basically what it is in layman's terms. So if this is an even number, then we have our remainder be 0, because 2 divided by 2, for example, would give you 1 with no remainder. Here, 1 divided by 2 will give you a remainder. So it's undefined. So here I'm showing you how within each loop, so array I is 1, array I is 2, this is the second go around, array I is 3 on the third go around, array I is 4 on the fourth go around. And that's basically what we're doing. So that's what this is. So now when we have that function, we're now going to state n is equal to array I, because the function is already telling you num equals num. So basically this is the function here. All we're doing is we're just placing that function, and for num, we're going to change it to array of I. We're going to set num to be array of I. So technically, we're just plugging in array I and array I as the num here. That's all we're doing. So instead of doing that, we're just using the variable num to take its place. So here we're stating num is equal to array of I, and that means that let's say the first one comes in, array the first go around we get 1. 1 here is not going to work, so it goes to the second one. So the second one works, and the second one is going to be 2. 2 works. So once 2 works, we don't care about the other ones, because we don't care about the highest number or whatever. We care about the first number within the array. So if 2 works, that's the first even number within the array. We break out of it, and then we return number to continue. That's all we're doing. So hope that made sense. I wish I could have showed you as I was doing it, but this is basically the thought process behind it. I don't want to take more time and redo the whole problem. So now if we plug this in, like so, into this, let's take out all this. Let's take this out. And let's run the test. As you can see, it works. So let's go over to the next challenge. What is this? Okay. This is different. Okay, so I guess it's just loading up the next challenge, I guess. And like, this isn't sponsored or anything by FreeCodeCamp. It's not sponsored. But if you guys are like enjoying these videos, and I'm not creating these questions by myself, I am using FreeCodeCamp. So I mean, if you ever want to give FreeCodeCamp a try, go ahead and use FreeCodeCamp. It does marvelous things when it comes to your learning. So that's always there. So, and also if you want to support them, as you could see, they have a way you could support them as well. So it remains free for people like us to use. So with all that said, let's keep moving on. So the next one is called Boohoo. And Boohoo states, check if a value is classified as a Boolean primitive. Return true or false. Boolean primitives are true and false. So let's understand what that question is asking us. So it's saying check if a value is classified as true and false, because Boolean primitives just means true and false. Return true or false pertaining to what the parameter is. So now one of the tests states Boohoo when given a parameter of true should return true. Boohoo when given a parameter false should return true. Why? Because true is a Boolean, so you should return true. False is also a Boolean, so you should return true. As you can see, these are not Booleans, so they're always going to return false. Always going to return false. N, not a number, should also return false. Now, Boohoo with true, but within a string data type, should also return false. So as false within a string data type should also return false. So because these two are strings, they're also going to return false. So we're not just looking to see if it just says true. We also have to know what kind of data type it is. Is it a string saying true, or is it just a Boolean? That's all we're trying to find. And here's our problem. So if we come over to, we can go ahead and do this. There we go. So now we can come over to to the Boohoo function. So here, what we want to do is step one, we want to understand the problem set. Meaning if the parameter is not a Boolean primitive, then always return false. Else return true. So number one is just understand what the problem is stating, which we just clarified. And then step number two states, if Boolean is a parameter. So if bool, not Boolean, if bool is, let's put it this way. If bool is the parameter, sorry, let's put it this way. If the parameter within bool is a Boolean, then it's true. If the parameter within bool is equal to false, then it is also a Boolean. So because they're both Booleans, then return true. How do we go about that? What we just stated is what we need to write verbatim. So we're going to say if, within the if statement, we're going to say if bool is equal to true, and remember we're using three equal signs here because we're also checking for the data type. So if bool is equal to true or bool is equal to false, then return true because they're both Booleans. Now, if not, step three, we're going to return false based on what's stated in step one. So based on this explanation, we're going to return false. So now console log bool, when we console log Boohoo, null being the parameter, this is not, this is not a Boolean. So we're going to return false. So if we take this, we take that, copy it, and we slap it over here. Okay, let's see. Okay, and we slap it this way, and we so function Boohoo bool, open the parentheses, and it says open the brackets, and it says if, so function boohoo, within the parentheses, we're taking in the bool parameter. We open up our brackets, and it says if bool is equal to true or bool is equal to false, then we're returning true because it is a boolean. Else return false because it's not a boolean. And then boohoo null should give us false because null is not a boolean. So if we run the test, as you can see, we got it correct. Let's move on to the next one. Cool. So for this one, we have title case a sentence. And for title case a sentence, we're asked to return the provided string with the first letter of each word capitalized. Make sure the rest of the word is in lowercase. For the purpose of this exercise, you should also capitalize connecting words like the and off. So let's read that again. For the purpose of this exercise, you should also capitalize connecting words like the and off. So what is that part saying? It's saying regardless of what word is in there, capitalize everything within the sentence. Capitalize every first letter within the sentence. It doesn't matter if the letter is the or off. Both of them should get capitalized. So let's go over to the test case here. Here it says title case, I'm a little teapot. This should return a string. So the first thing is, and make sure we're returning a string back. 2, I'm a little teapot should return the string I'm a little teapot with the first letters all capitalized. Here, we're given short and stout should return the string short and stout. As you can see, even though some of these words have uppercase in it, it should return the string the same way as the other strings, because meaning only the first letters should be capitalized. So let's go over to our IDE and let's work on that. So this is where I stopped before I got the error message saying my software is no longer recording. So let's see if we can figure this out now together. So let's open up this function. Awesome. So here, what do we want to do? So for step 1, I want to transform the string to an array. So I want to state const let's say string to array is equal to string dot split. Cool. And say if I console log string to array and I run it, I get I'm a little teapot. Cool. Now, what do I want to do next? Let's coming out of this. So here, I want to take the array and map. So map array. So I want to say string to array dot map. Let's use word. And we're going to say word.
Music licensing reimagined.
So when we map through it, we also want to get only the first letters, well, the first indexes, the first indexes. Yeah, let's go with that. The first indexes of the elements within the array. So let's see what this gives us. Console.log map array. And let's do this. As you can see, we get IALTP. That's what we want. So now that's within this same one. So this would be step number 2. We want to map through the array. So we map through it and we get word, and we want to say to uppercase. and set the first indexes to uppercase. So now let's try that again. So if we run it, as you can see, we have the first letters within the array all uppercase, right? So now what do we want to do? Let's now say plus join. Well, first we need to let's use let's say word dot substring. Is it all lowercase? I think.
Licensing reimagined.
Yeah, it's all lowercase. So we're gonna say substring 1. Let's try that. There we go. So as you can see, what we did here is we took the first letters of the array word, we changed it to uppercase, and then we appended it with the substring of 1. So meaning we started out with 1. So when we have I'm a little teapot, we started out with A, and then just took and appended everything from A onward to the word uppercase, to the word 0 to uppercase, basically is what we did. So map to the array, set the first indexes to uppercase, and then join the remaining elements to it using the substring method. And within substring, you can take in, I think it says up to 3, but typically you can put in a what's it called, a start and a stop. So here we're only using a starting number, a starting point, and if you don't give it an ending point, it's just going to return everything else. So here we gave it 1, so we said start at 1, and now it's going to return everything else. Yeah, so we're just going to use 1 because 1's going to add everything else back to it. And now we can let's keep everything here. So step 3, let's put step 3 here. Step 3, we now want to join, well, change the array back to a string using the join method. And the way to do this is we come over here. Let's see. Dot join. There we go. Dot join, and we're going to be joining it with the same way we split it, so with the space in between. And let's do this. Let's see. There we go. I'm a little teapot. that's a funny statement. And then yeah, just like that, we're done. So an easier way to do this is making everything in one line. So it's just gonna make everything a lot faster. So here we can just do the same thing, except we're just we're gonna do everything. We're gonna take all this and do it all on one line. So we're gonna say dot split, space in between. Then we can say dot map, word, and here we're gonna say word is 0 dot to uppercase, word dot substring 1 dot join. There we go. And here we can let's console.log this, save it, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. So let's take all this Actually, we don't even need all that. We just take this return statement here, and we can come up here to this return. Okay, let's see. Run the test. Okay. So we got 2 of them wrong, short and stout. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we can say word.substring 1 to lowercase. Let's see if that works out. Well, didn't mean to save that. There we go. That's all we're missing. So the reason why it wasn't working was because this was still returning some of the other letters as uppercase. So now if we come back in here, okay, for example, if this was, if this E was uppercase and we save it and we do this, as you can see, this E remains uppercase, even though all the first letters are lowercase. I mean, all the first letters here are uppercase. This E still remains as uppercase. So what we want to do is we want to come right before we join it. We want to come into this map and we want to say to lowercase. Save it. And let's see. As you can see, it fixed it. So we're all set. So that's pretty much all we're doing. So change the array back to a string using the join method. And then map through the remaining using a substring. Join the remaining elements to it using the substring method. And also use the dot to lowercase method to change the remaining elements back to lowercase. There we go. So just like that, we're all done. Let's go ahead and comment all this out. Go ahead and save it. And now we're on question 12. So this is the last one. So let's head over here, and this was done. So let's submit and go to the next challenge. Cool. So here our next challenge is called slice and splice. You're given 2 arrays and an index. You're given 2 arrays and an index. Copy each element of the first array into the second array in order. Begin inserting elements at index, the value here is n, of the second array. So index n of the second array. Return the resultant array. The input arrays should remain the same after the function runs. So let's give an example here. So we're given these arrays here. Franken splice 1, 2, 3. That's the first array. 4, 5 is the second array, and 1 is the index. So it should return 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. So let's see. The second one is 1 and 2 within the array, and then A and B. These are strings within the second array, and 1 is the index. So it should return A, 1, 2, B. And it's stated that the first array should remain the same after the function runs. The second array should remain the same after the function runs. Okay, so remember, you're given 2 arrays and an index. We have to copy each element of the first array into the second array in order. So each element of the first array into the second. So this is the first array. We have to copy it in order into this one based on the index. So 1, 2, 3 should go where index 1 is. So 4 and 5, this is index 0 and 1. So rather than have 5 here, 1, 2, 3 should take the place of 5, but still keep 5. That's all we're saying. So here, 1 and 2 should go in between A and B. That's all we're saying. And we're going to be using slice and spice. So let's head over to our IDE and work this out. So here we're given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the array, the index is 1. So we should have an answer that states 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold up. 1. So 4, 1, 2, 3. And 5, 6. There we go. So this is what we should get as our when we're done, when we return it, this is what we should get. So let's go ahead and figure that out. So in order to begin, what we need to do is state, let's come down here and let's just state, well, let's put it this way. You're already given the answer via the question because we're going to be using slice and splice. So we need to, so step 1 is we need to understand how slice and splice work. Slice makes a copy of the array without changing the original array. Splice modifies the original array based on the parameters given to the method. Given in the method, I guess, in the method. So what we want to say now for step 1 is const array2 clone, I guess, is equal to array2 dot splice. That's that slice. Sorry, that slice. And we're gonna just slice the whole thing, so we're not gonna put any parameters in there. So now we want to state array2 dot so let's actually just come to the return here. So let's say return array2 dot array. That's fine. Let's come over here. Let's just do it this way. So const array new array, let's put it that way, is equal to array2 clone dot so if we console.log array2 clone here, and just comment this out. We don't need this anymore. Okay. And we run it. As you can see, array2 clone is still 4, 5, 6. So there was no change involved. So now we want to make the change, and here we can now say array2 clone dot let's take this out. So array2 clone dot splice, and here is when we are able to what's it called? Is when we're able to modify our array. So as you can see, it can take 3 numbers. So the starting number, it can take 3 parameters, 3 items as parameters. So it takes the start, which is a number, the delete count, and where we're going to end. So here the starting number is going to be n, because n signifies the index that we're going to start from. So n, and now it's going to say how many things do you want to delete, like what do you want to delete. And within our question set, it says the input arrays should remain the same after the function run. So we don't want to delete anything, so we're just going to say 0. And now the last number is the last item is our the items you want to add to the new array. So what you're going to say is Let's use a spread operator and just use array 1. So we're using a spread operator because we want to add things individually into it. So we use the spread operator, we add everything within it, and now we can just say array2 is equal to new array. So here, when we run this, console.log, so hopefully this works. Let's see, because the logic sounds okay, so it doesn't. So where did we go wrong? So franken splice array1 array2 n, we have array2 clone is this, the new array. So let's see what new array gives us. Console.log new array, and this is how we debug, folks. So let's save that. Let's clear out of this. Okay, so that's why we did something wrong here. So array2 clone dot splice. Okay, so let's see. Okay, actually, what we could just do is we just make this one step. So because we want to return array2, we can just go straight into splice. Yeah, so we just do n. We don't want anything out, and we just want array1 within it. So this should work. So that way, because I think that wasn't working because of syntax, so we probably had to declare something or whatever. So let's see. We're still getting the same thing. How come? Let's see. How about this? Let's see this. Let's take this out. I know that we're doing the process right. It's just the way I'm writing it, probably. So let's try this. Hey, okay, we got it. It was just the way I was writing it. It was the syntax. So there's nothing wrong with the explanation. It's just the way I'm returning it, and I want to return it as array2 per what's requested here. Return array2. That's why, because I could have just changed this to like the clone and it would still work, but because I want to use array2, that's why we were having a problem. But it's kind of just a one-step process if you think about it. It's a two-step process if you use slice, but it's a one-step process if you don't. If we use slice, then we wouldn't return array2 the same way, which is what we try to do, and it's not going to work. But this process works just as well. So we're taking array2, which is this is the one we're working with. We're splicing it. N is the index at which we start modifying. So n here is 1. So at 1, so we take array2 at 1, 0, 1, and 1 is where we start modifying. We don't want anything deleted, so 0 items should be deleted. So we don't want anything deleted, and we want to add the contents of array1 within the index of 1, as stated here, and that's all we're doing. And then we're just going to return that array2, and that's practically it. So if we now take this and we just pop it right over here, okay, and we run the test. Oh, something's wrong. The second array should remain the same after the function runs. So let's see, why is it not remaining the same? Okay, so here's that's the problem, right? So okay, so that's the problem, right? So it's just, we're just not going to return array2 then. So let's just say where do we have array to clone? Was that what we had earlier? Is equal to array2 dot slice. So that way we keep everything the same. So array2 clone dot splice is this, and then we're just going to return array2 clone, because right now if we just return array2, it's kind of conflict. There's a conflict, so it conflicts, so it doesn't really make sense. So let's do this and see if we still get the same thing. Yeah, we get the same thing. So we're just going to return this instead. So yeah, let's do this instead. It's not returning exactly what they stated to return, but it should still work all the same. There we go. So it works all the same. So just submit and go to the next challenge. Awesome. So now we have falsy bouncer, but we're not going to work on this right now. So as you can see, we have worked on everything except the last four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do this on the next one. So let's head on over to, we can just close out of this. So we're all done with that. So as you can see, we used 2 steps technically, so we had to understand this. Step 2, I guess 3 steps technically, because step 1 is just understanding slice and splice. Step 2, make a shadow clone. Shout out to my Naruto fans out here. Make a shadow clone of the, and it's not called shadow clone, it's just a clone, just making a joke here. So make a shadow clone of the array, and make a clone of the array using slice method first. Using slice method, since it's step 2, you know it's the first step. Step 3, with the slice method, use slice to what's it called, to modify the array. There we go. That's practically it. So that's all we did. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys understand what's going on or understood what I explained. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask in the comment section. I'll try to get to them as quickly as I can. Hopefully you guys understand, or at least understood what I explained. This ones were pretty straightforward. I think the first one was a bit harder, so if I understand if there's more questions on that one. But don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. Everyone starts somewhere. With all that rambling out the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next part of this series. Peace.